Hey, Jeremy here with you from CGE Jordan in Amman, and here we're going to practice writing some actual words and how to pronounce them. What I want you to do is go to Google and do an image search, do Arabic alphabet, get some sort of chart like this where it lists all the forms of the Arabic alphabet by itself, the beginning, the middle, and final. Print this off and have this in front of your screen as you follow along. And what I'm going to do is ask you to pause at various moments and look at what I've written. Look at your sheet here. Try and find the symbols. Make sure you understand what's going on. And then make an attempt to say what I've written. And then play it to see if you're right. Okay. So we've gone over briefly all the letters of the Arabic alphabet. Now let's try and apply some of that knowledge. So we've done this a few times. Okay, pause. How did you say that word? We've got a B here. We've got a long A vowel. You can leave that or not write it. And then you've got that solitaire B. Remember what I said about the solitaire form? When it's preceded by a letter that doesn't connect, that's when you see it. So the aleph, that long A, is a non-connecting letter. So the way that we say this is bab. Bab. Now, this means door. Door in Arabic. And there's actually a neat way to remember this. If you remember in Genesis, that place called Babel, this actually means door of God. They were trying to make a tower to reach the gate or the door of God. In Arabic, the word for door is bab. Bab. All right. We're going to practice some more letters, beginning with some which don't connect to make it a little bit easier. One of the common first word people learn is this. All right. Pause it and see if you can figure this out. I forgot to introduce this symbol to you. This means the absence of a vowel. So if we look up all of our symbols here, what you'll find is this. Okay? You have a D, you have an A, you have an R, with no vowel after it, marked with that little circle up there. And then you have an S at the end. And this is better pronounced ders. Ders. And this means lesson. And it just so happens that none of these connect. The S connects, but nothing comes after it. The D doesn't connect, the R doesn't connect. Ders. All right. Another common word is this. Again, none of these connect. So pause it and see if you can figure that out. Okay. What we have here is a Z with a long U vowel. You can transliterate that with two U's, and an R. So the way you say this is zur, zur. And this is the imperative for visit. You remember how I told you how some consonants do double duty, like the Y and the W? Well, they can be a vowel or a consonant. Well, I'm going to give you some examples of how these can be consonants. A very common word is this. All right, pause it and see if you can figure this out. Okay, so what we have here, we have a B, and then you have a A-class vowel. Remember that absence of a vowel is marked with a little circle. So there's no vowel after the Y. This circle also tells us, although it's not usually written, that this is a consonant rather than a vowel. In fact, it's a diphthong. It's a combination of two vowel type sounds. The way it's pronounced is bait. Bait. You hear that? Bait. And this means house. And this is also a common word in Hebrew. Perhaps you've heard of Beit Lehem or Bethlehem. Often it's pronounced Beth. There's lots of places throughout Israel which begin with this, but in reality it's that Beit. In fact, even today in Hebrew, they say Beit for a house. Another diphthong is this word, which technically is written like that. Oops. And pause it and see if you can figure out how to pronounce that. What we have here is a Y, an A W. Here's that A. After the W is an absence of a vowel. This. And this is pronounced yom. Yom. There's a slight difference between MSA and the dialects, where they might make this more of a yom, whereas the dialects it's more like it's like a O actually. Yom. Yom. And this word means day. Yom. There's one other symbol that I need to give you, and it looks like this. It's called a shadde. Very important. What it does is that it marks a doubling of a consonant. For instance, in this word, let's try and figure out how to pronounce this word. So if you want to pause it and sound it out. All right, what you have here is an S with a class vowel, followed by a Y with a shadde, which we'll write with two Y's. Then after the Y, you have a long A, right, marked by the aleph. Then you have an R with the feminine marker, which is sort of like an AH or an H, essentially just an A-class vowel. So the way you pronounce this is sayyara, sayyara, and that means car, sayyara. You can notice how I hold out the Y here. If you ever see Arabic transliterated, if you see a doubled consonant, that means that you hold it out. Or in the case of reading Arabic, you see a shadde, you have to hold that out. That's actually a very important part of pronunciation. Sayyara. And that means car, like I said. Can we figure out what this is? I'm going to write this according to how we say it in the dialect. Now, usually we don't even include any sort of vowel markings here, but of course when you're first learning the word, it's very helpful. What we have here is, first of all, a K, followed by an I-class vowel, by an L, with the absence of a vowel, and then an M. This is an M, if you're wondering what that is. And then that feminine marker, which is an A. It's pronounced different ways in different dialects, but here in Jordan we say kilme. It sort of makes an sound. Kilme, kilme. And in other places like Iraq they say kilma. They make a more A-class sound. Ah, kilma.